do you re-sign Tyrod? He's expensive, right? Do we think we can get a cheaper option that might be as good as Tyrod? Like, I think Gardner Minshew is going to cost money. Jameis Winston, I cannot see us signing Jameis Winston as a backup. I can maybe see Gardner Minshew, but at the same time, those guys are going to be, I think, more expensive. No? I'm going to take a gander. Let's look, shall we? Because Tyrod was one of the more expensive backups when we signed him. Kirk, Tannehill. I almost wonder if you just signed Tannehill on a flyer. Because he's not... Wait, hold on. Let me look at his market value. Like $5 million a year? That's not bad. Tyrod would be 2.8 million, 3 million, and he's a year younger. So I guess, yeah, bring him back. I mean, he was $5.5 million this past season, and he's valued at less than 3 million. That seems like an easy re-sign. But I don't know. Odds are, I mean, I truly believe that Daniel will be back in time for week 1 to start week 1. But, as Shane said in his press conference, end of year press conference, you also don't want to risk it and put all your eggs in that basket, right? You want to sign someone. He said sign someone. He did not say draft someone, which leads me to believe they're going to go to free agency to get the guy that they want, that they think can win 1 to 4 games. Because I can't see him coming back later than that unless there's a major setback, which, knowing Daniel Jones' luck, there might be. But Tannehill's 35, Tyrod's 34. They'll probably be 36 and 35 and 36 respectively once the season starts. You're not like too high on that. But then you look at someone like Joe Flacco. It's like, oh, shit. Joe Flacco, old man Joe Flacco comes back and he looks like a goddamn stud. I would not be opposed to signing Drew Lock. That would be pretty sweet. But I wonder if Seattle has had enough of Geno Smith and they feel like Drew Lock is their guy. I mean, he did beat the Eagles, which I know is this year not as tall a task, but still. Gardner Minshew is the guy that would be pretty sweet. $5 million a year. So and 5.3. So he's 20. He's going to be 28 pretty soon. You can sign him for like less than what you signed Tyrod for. And I don't believe he's as injury prone. Joe Flacco is almost 39. Josh Dobbs might be another guy that you look at. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm out on drafting quarterback with the 6th spot. I know I teased that, and we'll get to it in a little bit, but I think there's so many other routes to go. I don't know that you're going to get this. I get excited for the draft when the draft comes around, but I'm not one of those guys that's like tank for the draft. Like to the fans that were upset the Giants beat the Eagles in the regular season finale and we don't have the 5 pick, we have the 6 pick. Get alive. Like what? Who gives a shit? I mean, unless this is where I don't know, maybe I've lost touch with college football, but like, is there a guy in college football that is like, can't miss, is going to take, I don't know, Think about all the quarterbacks that have been drafted number 1 or number 2 overall. And I think I brought up this stat a bunch of times. In the past 20 some odd years, one's won the Super Bowl, I think. Got fucking Tom Brady, 6th round. Brock Purdy, like Mr. Irrelevant. Patrick Mahomes wasn't a number 1 overall pick. So, like, you know, the people that are just slobbering over Caleb Williams and Drake May and sobbing over it and getting so butthurt that we keep winning these games, like, shut the fuck up. I understand an elite quarterback makes up for a poor offensive line. I get that. But it's not sustainable. And eventually your poor offensive line lets an absolute monster ravage your quarterback. You know, you can't tell me that, like, Joe Burrow wouldn't appreciate a better offensive line. He's had 2 of his seasons end short because of injuries, because he's getting hit. So, you know, Josh Dobbs is going to be almost $7 million a year. He is, I think I saw he was 27. No, 29, excuse me. You know, Tannehill, probably not. Jacoby Brissett is 31. He only played 46 snaps in 2023. Mariota, no thanks. Sam Darnold is interesting. Sucked with the Jets, goes to the Niners, and looks decent. Sorry, he went to the Panthers first, didn't he? Panthers and then the Niners. So he's had a little bit of a resurgence with the Niners. 27 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 3 fumbles. Oof. So it's worth considering. I mean, he's $4.5 million in 2023. Did I look up just for shits and gigs? I'm gonna look up Jameis. Jameis is like less than $3 million at age 30. That's kind of weird. It's Jameis. Yeah. Tyler Huntley is gonna be 26, 2.6 mil this past season. The other guys, I don't know that I'm too crazy about any of these dudes. Unless Jake Browning is going to be a free agent. That is interesting. I did not realize that. Yeah, so looking at this now, I think I got to go at Mason Rudolph, which, you know, say what you will about Mason Rudolph, and maybe this is recency bias. The fact that he's able to get the Steelers into the playoffs and he's starting a playoff game. And if he wins that playoff game, I mean, they're playing at Buffalo against the Bills. So good luck, brother. Is that someone you bring in? He's only 28. He earned only $1 million. I don't know. Something to think about. So right now, if I'm looking at if we think it's not worth bringing Tyrod back, which 35-year-old backup, injury prone, gets us close but doesn't get us the win. So if we don't bring him back on a fairly cheap deal, you got to look at Drew Lock, which again feels like a long shot. I don't think that the Seahawks are going to give up on him. Drew Lock, Mayfield has pretty much solidified himself as a starter, and I'd be shocked if the Buccaneers don't bring him back because he's doing things that Tom Brady did, which is a wild thing to say out loud. So, yeah, Baker's probably going to get re-signed or franchise tag, especially, you know, making the playoffs, possibly beating the Eagles. Whoa. So I'd say Drew Lock, Gardner Minshew, Tyler Huntley. I don't know if I'm in on Dobbs or not. He's just a younger Tyrod. Like, gets you close, but can't win it. I'll throw him in there. Josh Dobbs, stick. Got off to a bumpy start. Hung a big number I know is the opposite of that. 1,100 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 5 fumbles, 1 interception. I'll say no to Easton Stick. Kyle Allen, no. No. AJ McCarron, no. Matt Barkley, no. Mason Rudolph and Jake Browning. That's my 6 free agent quarterbacks the Giants should pursue. Jake Browning, Mason Rudolph, and I'm probably very wrong on Mason Rudolph. I'm going to say no to Josh Dobbs. Did I say no to Josh Dobbs? I think I said yes to Josh Dobbs. Jake Browning, Mason Rudolph, Josh Dobbs, Tyler Huntley, Gardner Minshew, Drew Lock. So yeah, it's 6. Yeah, but that's the tough part is like, if you're a backup quarterback and you've played well for your team and that team has a starting quarterback that's kind of iffy, do you want to go to another team, sign with another team where you're probably going to be the backup when Daniel Jones is healthy? But you could start 1 to 4 games. And in those 1 to 4 games, you could make Giants fans' lives a living hell where we debate whether or not Drew Lock or Daniel Jones should be our starting quarterback. Invite another quarterback controversy. I don't know. But yeah, those are my 6 guys in terms of quarterback free agents.